Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking a lot about the Srixon ZX range, and in particular their irons, and how I think personally their irons and the combinations they offer are some of the best on the market. Let's take a look. So I'm going to kick the video off with the ZX5, and in the ZX5 I have the 5 and 6 iron available to me. These are my current irons, these are actually my set, and one thing I do love about the Srixon irons is the shelf appeal. Straight away, how they look on the shelf are probably, in my opinion, some of the best looking irons out there. Srixon offers so many great combinations. They've got the ZX4, the ZX5 and then the ZX7 range, and the way they combine to offer you all-round forgiveness and great value for money is as good as anything on the market. You have major winners such as Brooke Koepka using the ZX7 version, which we'll go on to later on in the video, but I want to start with the ZX5 and how these are designed for mid-handicap range. Guys, like I said in the start, I do genuinely believe Srixon are one of the most underrated brands out there. Not only in their irons, their woods as well is coming up. They're just great irons. So like I said, I have 5 and 6 iron within my set. I have them in a stiff shaft. One thing they differ between the ZX5 and the ZX7 is a little bit more perimeter weighting. So as you can see here, it's slightly thicker at the back. We have a slightly thicker sole, and that's about it really. You know, it just helps with MOI, helps a bit with centre of gravity, and it just gives you a little bit more forgiveness when you're getting into that harder phase in your game, in your longer irons, which we all struggle with. We all need the ball to launch a bit higher. So the technology within these irons are pretty much the same as what they had in the Mark 1 ZX range. They've just refined it a little bit more. So they've still got the main frame with what the Srixon call the main frame. So just behind the face they have a milling. So when you're hitting off-centre strikes, it just gives you overall ball speed across the club face. Apart from that, like I said, it's very similar. They still have the V sole, which is just, I mean, for me, I've only used these for about 3 months, but the ground interaction with these in terms of divots, in terms of not digging in, no leading edge digging in, it's fantastic. The V sole is such a minor detail, and you can just about see it on camera here, but such a minor detail, but such a great, in my opinion, bit of engineering from Srixon. It gives just a great turf interaction. If you're someone like myself who uses bounce within his wedges, I think it's almost like having a nice bit of bounce within your irons. And obviously still being a 5 and 6 iron, what I'm showing you today is fantastic. It is forged, so you do get that nice feeling off the club face. It's a bit more responsive. It's certainly quicker than the ZX7, there's no doubt about that. It's slightly more higher pitched. Obviously we're in indoor garage here. It will be a bit louder throughout the camera, but overall, I personally think Srixon have nailed it. Now the ZX5, take note, is 1 degree stronger throughout the whole range. So we do have the 7 iron in the ZX7, which comes in at 32 degrees. So it is slightly stronger anyway in terms of traditional lofts, but the 7 iron in the ZX5, for example, will be 31 degrees. So it's not a massive amount of difference. You're talking maybe 5 yards. What you will get is slightly quicker ball speeds, potentially across the face, as they're a mid-range iron. Right guys, let's go and hit some shots and go basically give you my feedback on why I think these are potentially one of the best irons. And then we go on to the ZX7s and then explain why I think, again, with the combination sets, how you can combo it like I have, and I will show you my irons and talk to you about a little bit about what I've done and why I've done it in terms of my setup, and it will just hopefully relate to each and every one of you out there who's struggling with their game at the moment. Let's go and take a look. Right, so let's kick things off with the 6 iron ZX5. Like I said, stiff shaft. We've got Skytrack. Big thanks to my good friend John for lending me his fantastic little studio here in his garage. So we've got Skytrack, we're going to get some good numbers. We're going to look at spin rate. Obviously spin rates will differentiate a little bit on outside conditions in terms of grass compared to being on a mat. But let's have a look. Let's listen out for sound. I'll try and hit some bad shots, which I'm definitely going to do because I'm human. And then we'll have a look at some numbers, and I'll give you some feedback on my opinion of why, again, these irons are really good. So let's hit things off with a 6 iron. I expect this to go around sort of 180, so sort of 190. Using Pro V1, so I'm using my real ball. Let's kick things off, hopefully with a good one. Right, 6 iron. Right, good strike. Nice strike there, just right of centre, which is kind of my general shot. Yeah, perfect numbers, 185. So it's right in that wheelhouse of what I just said, about 180, 190 carry. We've got 205 total distance. Now that obviously it varies. We're on a track, sky track here on the course, especially at the moment where it's wet, it will stop certainly a lot quicker than that. Spin rate 3,500, a little bit low from where I'd want to see it. I'd want to see it around sort of 4,500. Decent launch, and obviously great result. Straight down the middle, a little bit of fade. Let's hit another one, see if we can replicate that. As for sound, obviously we're indoors, so it's amplified a little bit, but it's not too offensive. Now, if you're someone who wants buttery soft, almost feel like you're not hitting the ball when you're actually making contact, Mizuno soft, this might not be the iron for you. But if you're someone like myself that just likes that feedback, I know where I'm hitting that in the face. I knew straight away that was in the middle. I've hit that really well. It just gives you that instant feedback. Now, this is obviously the mid-range irons, so I'm expecting that. When I get to the 7, 8, 9 irons in the ZX7, I expect a little bit of softness. I expect maybe that dulled down sound. But yeah, good start so far. Let's have a little go again with the 6 iron, see if I can replicate that one. So one thing I do want to talk about actually is the top line and looking down at the ball. You'll see this throughout the video, but the top line here is just slightly squared off, so it's not too offensive. Again, remember, this is the mid-range. This is the forgiving iron. There's hardly any difference between this and the 7 iron, which I'll show you in just a second. It's just a gorgeous iron. There's minimal offset. Right, let's try and get a good one again. So 6 iron, see if I can sort of replicate those numbers. So 185. Okay, so I didn't hit that one very well, so let's see what it does. Right, so that's my point. So I've hit that quite badly, about as bad as I can hit it. It's gone just left of centre, which is not too bad, it's not too offensive. And it's dropped off a little bit. We're not talking loads, we're talking a bit, about 5 to 10 yards overall distance. Spins not far from where it was. Not a great shot, but a 6 iron going sort of 200 yards. I'm off centre a little bit. I'm 19 yards left of target. So not a great shot, but it's not going to ruin your card. Let's try and get another good one off before we move into the ZX7. Right. Better then, much better strike that time. Moved it a little bit to the left again. 182 carry. So right in my wheelhouse, exactly where I want to see my 6 iron go. I clearly need a bit of practice. No club in the world is going to help that out. But it's right in my wheelhouse. And to be fair, it's not a bad little test. I've hit a really good shot. I've hit quite a bad shot, and then I've hit an average shot. And we've got a good average number of around about 180, 185 yards, where I want to see my numbers be with a 6 iron. And exactly like the mainframe is designed to do there, I've hit one in the middle and it's been beautiful. I've hit the next one low and toe. It's gone left and it has gone low, but it's maintained some sort of speed. It's maintained the distance. We've had a drop off. You're going to get drop off with mishits. There's no doubt about that. And then lastly, I've caught one a bit thin and I've pulled it slightly, but it's still maintained its distance. Right guys, the ZX5 irons, unbelievable. Great bit of kit. I mean, if you're a mid-handicapper and you're looking for something that's going to help you throughout the whole bag, I definitely recommend them. shelf appeal alone, they're absolutely gorgeous. Right, let's take a look at the ZX7.
하나, 둘, 셋.
So onto the ZX7 irons, and as you can see, shelf appeal continues throughout the bag. They're just a beautiful looking iron, forged. So what do we get with the ZX7 that we don't get with the ZX5? And really it's not a lot. We have a slightly thinner sole, we have slightly less perimeter weighting. It's just going to offer you a little bit less forgiveness. This is the better player iron, there's no doubt about it. Judging on my shots in the previous videos, we're going to see how much of a better player I am. Hopefully it will improve. But yeah, I think these irons are just fantastic. And like I said, the real difference in these are real small margins. This is why combination sets within Srixon are, in my opinion, again, some of the best you can get on the market, especially in manufacturers. They just blend so nicely. There's hardly any difference between, I mean, the top line, as you would have seen through the video, is just almost identical. You might say there's like a millimetre difference between the ZX7 and the ZX5, but it's tiny. The blade length slightly shorter, so heel to toe. It's a little bit more squatted. It's a tiny bit difference. One thing I didn't mention actually through the part 1 of the video with the ZX5 is Srixon they do have progressive grooves. So as we go through the set, through sort of 7, 8, 9 picture wedge, it becomes more grooves, a little bit tighter together and a little bit deeper, just to help you with that spin rate and help you sort of maintain. So obviously you can play a bit more shots with a bit more shot shape, like almost like a blade. You know, blades are desired because you can shape a shot and you can be more creative. Although the forgiveness on the blades, you know, it's really hard to hit. These kind of offer like a blade feel and a blade kind of look, but with more of a cavity back and definitely more forgiveness. Right, let's go and hit some shots. I've got an 8 iron here. I want to see this going about 180, about 160, 180, yeah, not today, it's a bit cold for 180, around about 160 carry, and I'll try and hit one down the middle for you guys. Let's have a go. So yeah, like I said, looking down, they're just a gorgeous iron. It presents really well. Like you look down and you just see loft, you see face and you see grooves, and you just feel confident with that. You look, you know, considering this is the player iron, this is the Brooks iron, you look down and, you know, straight away you're like, yeah, this ball's going to go up in the air. It's great. There's minimal offset. The top line's lovely, slightly squared. Maybe I personally might prefer the slightly rounded top edge, but I don't really care. It looks beautiful. The shelf appeal on these things are just stunning. Let's hit an 8 iron. Try and get one down the middle for you guys. Right. See if I can find a swing in 2024. So the left is obviously continuing. Seem to have the lefts this year, but that wasn't a bad strike. A little bit skinny, definitely a duller sound. 100% quieter. The acoustics, even indoors, which are amplified, definitely a little bit quieter. It feels fantastic. I mean, that was a slight miss here. Obviously, I pulled it a little bit, but I've hit that couple of grooves lower than what I wanted to, and we've got a good distance. You know, I said 160, I've hit 158. Yes, I'm offline a little bit, you know, whether it's me aiming a little bit, because there's not much curvature on that shot. So, obviously, new surroundings, we'll have to get used to that. But I can't stress, if you're a mid-handicapper, progressing down into single figures, and you want something that's going to give you the best of both worlds, forgiveness at the top end, playability in the bottom end, Srixon just absolutely nail it. And if you go and get fitted for these, talk to your fitter. My fitter, when I got these irons, he weakened the loft of my 5 iron just so it helped blend in a bit more. And like I said, it's 1 degree in it, so it's hardly any deviation in terms of loft, in terms of distance. 1 degree, I think, equals to about 5 yards. So yes, okay, that's 5 yards. But you know, with a good fitter, they can get you in a decent set of these. Let's hit another one. See if I can actually see that, feel that white line at some point today. But just great clubs, really, really good clubs, and just crying out. I don't get why other manufacturers aren't doing the same thing here. They are still no good. We're in 2024 now, guys. These clubs aren't brand new. They're a year or two old, and they're still, in my opinion, right up there in that section of offering combination sets. Whew. Still one of the best. Right, 8 iron again. Let's try and hit another one. Hasn't picked it up. I'm telling you now, that was down the middle. Right, let me try and hit another one here. Unfortunately, the machine didn't pick that one up. It happened. It felt great. It's definitely a centered strike. Let's see if I can try and replicate that swing. No. Right, so fortunately I've definitely got the lefts in me today. 166. So around that 160 odd mark that I said about. Let's hit another one. Let's try and get a good one to finish off with Srixon irons. Yeah, definitely the best. It's definitely one of the best out there. Let's try and finish on a good one. There we go. He's back. He's back. 160 on the nose, ladies and gentlemen. 173 carry. Great launch. Good spin. Srixon ZX5 and ZX7 irons. Go give them a look. Do not discredit them. They have major winners using these things. They're beautiful. They're designed well. Yeah. Srixon nailed it. Guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Plenty more coming from me. See you.